emotional problems. And there is no training as to how to contain your emotions.
Correct.
And not allow them to influence your workplace. It's the same thing. They behave in the workplace the way they behave at home. So the way he behaves with his spouse, that's the way he behaves with his employees,
Yes.
Yeah. There's no boundary at all.
So what do you think, Swamiji, is the solution?
The solution is to educate the people. For emotional maturity, the first thing, but as I said, a person should have value for that.
Yes.
First is the value for emotional maturity.
Yeah.
What is meant by that is the ability to manage one's impulses,
Correct.
keeping them under reasonable control. That even if you sometimes become influenced by them, you don't get overwhelmed, that you completely lose yourself. That you can recover and bring back your basic value of workplace or any place, the norms that every situation calls for.
Correct.
Because in every situation you play a role.
Yes.
And role always calls for certain norms.
Yes.
At home as well as in workplace and anywhere. And a value for following these norms, not violating them.
Yes.
Even if there are violating impulses in you, a value for controlling those impulses.
Very good.
So unless that value is there, people won't think there is anything wrong in what they're doing. So a person should see that what he or she is doing is wrong, and that it is hurting others, in turn hurts himself or herself. And therefore for their own peace of mind and happiness, they should become free from these impulses, these negative emotions.
Correct.
And then they should be taught the tools as to how to diffuse those emotions, what to do.
Now, do you think it is possible to teach someone who has bad habits of this sort, or has poor control of their impulses?
By all means. First to show them how it is hurting them, damaging them, and how not overcoming this, not changing, is constantly hurting you and making you a more and more unhappy person. In that process, you are making others unhappy, but you become more and more unhappy. And then you invite also the reaction from other people, because you can't, even if you're a boss, you cannot get away all the time.
Correct.
The people always, it'll boomerang, in one way or the other.
It will what, sorry?
Boomerang means it will echo back, So first, we have to tell them what emotional immaturity is. What are the impulses that we see? How people behave, how they treat others, how they damage others, and how they get damaged in turn. And how that damage creates unhappiness for them, which further aggravates their emotions. And it's a very vicious circle. This we have to make them see. Secondly, a value of coming out of this for simple reason of just being happy. Then number 3, identify major impulses like anger, jealousy, greed, hatred, cruelty.
I'm sorry, what was the last one?
Cruelty. So we see them all playing out in different places, at home, at workplace, and everywhere. So identify those impulses. Educate person why these impulses are there. It's not that we want to brand that person as there is something wrong with him or her. This is also has a reason. Is also, so what's the reason for anger? What's the reason for greed? What's the reason for hatred? You have to analyze the psychology and let them understand that it is not a sin that they're having this kind of impulses. It is the lack of education. It is a lack of proper upbringing. It is a lack of proper set of values that these impulses are there, and they are allowed to play themselves out. And very often people find them valuable because you can intimidate other people by your anger, by your authority, by your aggressiveness, and get your way, which is short-term gain. How it brings about long-term pain. So how these impulses may appear to be useful in a given situation, either to get your things done or to relieve yourself of the inner pressure. So how it gives you a short-term relief but a long-term pain. How it builds up.
Right.
How these impulses are like fire. More you try to satisfy them, more intense they become, and more controlled you are, more bound and helpless you are. All this we have to show them.
I see.
And thus creating them a value for becoming free from them. So first describe the problem, describe the situation, describe the causes, describe the effects, describe the problem, and create a value for becoming free from these impulses. And then show them the way. How to deal with anger, how to deal with jealousy, how to deal with greed, hatred, whatever.
Yeah.
Because there is a reason why each of these impulses arises. And we have to make the person see from a contrary standpoint. It is a standpoint which has brought about these impulses, and show a contrary standpoint. Make the person take a holistic view or objective view. All anger and everything arises on account of a one-sided view of a person or a situation. How viewing that person or situation from the opposite side is also equally valid. And when you appreciate that, how that diffuses this impulse.
So that comes from greater empathy, to see things from another person's point of view.
Not empathy, even just practicality.
Okay.
For my own sake, for my own freedom
Yes.
and peace of mind, it is necessary that I should become an objective person.
Correct.
I should develop the capacity to view things from totality. Not a partial view, but I should have, as best as I can, a total view. Or at least recognize that this impulse in me has arisen on account of looking at the situation from a given standpoint. What is the opposite standpoint with which I can look at the same situation, and how I find that my evaluation is totally different? So person reacts depends upon how he or she evaluates the situation. For evaluating, you have a standpoint. So give the mind the contrary standpoint. The evaluation will be different. And so the pressure that was developed by a given viewpoint, given evaluation, is diffused. In yoga it's called pratipaksha bhavana. Paksha means a viewpoint. Prati means a contrary. Deliberately taking up a contrary viewpoint to see the same situation.
Very good, yeah. Very true.
Then that emotion or impulse can get diffused. So our Swami calls a two-step response. One-step response is responding based on my viewpoint as it exists now. A two-step response is responding after taking into account the contrary viewpoint also.
Yes.
And then choose how you want to respond. The two-step response.
So it is very deliberate.
Then yes. First is impulsive,
Yeah.
second is deliberate.
Yes.
The deliberate arises.
That to cultivate that way of doing things is
you have to cultivate the space.
Yes.
A space has to be cultivated.
So one practical question I have, since I'm developing this program, and it is going to be a generic program for the audience, whatever, say employees at Johnson & Johnson, for example, and different people in the audience, because it's hard to sit down with each person and deliver and identify.
It's a generic.
It's a generic program. How would one deliver this?
We just told you.
Is the way, okay.
Yeah. And by the way, we have this book called the Satsang. Satsang with Swami Viditatmananda, in which there is a whole section of self-management, dealing with anger and greed and this and all kinds of things.
Okay.
It may be of interest to you to look at
I
them.
will go to the bookstore and
Yeah. So there are 2 volumes, but I know that in first volume, these things are discussed.
it's the first volume.
Yeah.
Okay.
You look at the second volume, you find some useful material there.
Okay.
You would, actually. Because you need philosophy ultimately with all this.
Yes.
This cannot be simply dealt with at emotional level.
Right.
Because the value arises only when you have a philosophical view. Otherwise the value will not arise.
See, that is another challenge in the corporate sector, which is a secular workplace. It is
No, philosophy very
difficult
simply is this, that you want to be happy.
Yes.
That's philosophy.
okay. That's okay.
Nothing more than that.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
That you
I
want to be
misunderstood. I thought
happy.
maybe you said
No,
from a-
but then being happy requires an understanding of what happiness is, where it comes from. That is philosophy.
yes.
Yeah. Because people have their own view of
Correct.
where happiness comes from.
Yeah.
So that you describe, and describe then your view as Vedanta teaches, and show how
Yes.
this is the correct view.
Yeah.
So that is what we call vivek or discrimination.
Yes.
So that is very important, the basic understanding.
Yeah.
So that will provide you the basis of the value of value. Why should it be valuable for me to overcome these impulses?
Right.
Because happiness is important.
Correct.
What does happiness to do with this? How this creates unhappiness? And how freedom from this brings happiness? That's what I meant by. So it is simple, but still it's profound.
Yes, it is. Yes. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So this also has to be included. In fact, I think I told you last time,
Uh-huh.
we have a whole series of lectures that we gave,
By whom?
I gave
Okay.
to management students,
Uh-huh.
addressing these very problems. And we have brought out the book, but the whole text is there. And I must have mentioned it last time also, but anyway.
I shared with us.
Is it
SP Jain
Ah.
talks, yes.
SPJ?
Yeah.
I shared with him. Yeah.
Well, we had a edited version.
Oh,
These talks were transcribed, edited,
Uh-huh.
and an edited version also is there.
Uh-huh.
And give me a email if I can locate it in my,
Sure. Absolutely.
which is many years ago.
Yeah.
If I can locate it.
Yes, that would be amazing. That would be great.
Yeah.
See, I'm approaching this with an open mind. I'm taking lessons from, academia, from management professors, from psychology department at Columbia, Harvard Business School, Wharton,
Right.
and religious sources and spiritual sources, which are equally, if not more, valid.
Right.
But my challenge with the spiritual content is that I'm coming approaching it from a point of view of a Hindu, since I was raised as one.
There's nothing
But in the
Hindu about
workplace-
this.
No,
Nothing is Hindu in being happy.
True.
This
true,
is a universal thing. We understand
true.
Vedanta is not rooted in a particular ism. It's a universal teaching. And if in our communication to a given audience, you find some elements which are cultural in nature,
Yeah,
you can always make them non-threatening.
correct.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that's up to us.
Yes.
People are not averse to spirituality as long as it doesn't threaten them.
Correct.
That's it. So make it
Because
non.
the workplace is diverse. Some are Christian, some are Jewish,
Oh, yes,
some
yes,
are
sure.
atheists.
Yes, yes.
Whatever they may be, they are fine.
Yeah, this doesn't talk of any. There's no need to talk of any God.
Correct, correct. As long as I can present things.
Talk
in a
of
neutral-
basic values,
Absolutely.
which everybody accepts.
Yes.
That's all. And relate those values with happiness, which
Yes.
is what human being wants.
Yes.
Yeah, that is important.
Yeah.
That connection is not known to anybody, except to these spiritual people.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's what we have to tell them. How following values is valuable,
Yes.
because our approach is that I am the most valuable one in my life. Yes, that's where we begin.
That's right.
Everything and everybody becomes valuable only because I am valuable, and they become valuable to me if they in some way add to my value to myself or don't take away my value from myself. You follow?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this you have to tell them, explain. Nothing religious about this
Yeah.
or parochial about this.
Correct. Correct.
Hmm.
Yeah. These are
This is universal.
universal
thing.
values.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, I would like to attend the Patrons Week. We've just become patrons. My father
Hmm.
became a member,
Mhm.
so I don't know if they're full. I only learnt about it very recently.
I've written one you can certainly, it's not full. Then
The
we're going to talk
value
value
of
of
values?
values, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I talked to Vimalaji.
Hmm?
I already talked to Vimalaji.
Yeah? Yeah, okay. Here is a missionary.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a very helpful man.
Yes, he is. And in evening
Yeah.
satsangs,
Yes.
you can always raise a relevant question,
Yes.
something that touches your particular thing,
Of course.
and how this teaching can be related to that.
Yes.
So then this teaching can be tailored
Yes.
to address a given aspect, you know. Yes.
One thing I'm doing now, somebody told me, instead of we are creating an online platform for educating the corporate sector with videos, maybe even interactive games. So I'm partnering with a tech company that is very innovative at designing these things. Very expensive tech company, but I mean, I'm getting financing hopefully, so that's going to be taken care of. And the premier model for corporations is that if they want a personal speaker to come in or consultant, then that they have to pay extra. But the online, maybe even an app on the phone, will be the low-cost model if they want to really do it for 100,000 employees or whatever. So that's I'm being ambitious about this, and that's the objective. Because there's a dire need for it, and there's nothing exactly that takes from all the best practices out there from management, psychology, spirituality, etc., and puts it in a comprehensive platform to teach employees this. There are some, but they are often personality, Deepak Chopra or this or that.
But that is what counts, unfortunately.
Yeah, but those are limited because they
Deepak
companies.
Chopra puts an app.
Yeah.
People will right away use it. If you and I put an app, well, we have to see. People value things. Yeah, exactly.
But that also, I'm hopefully I will. I'm sure your association will also not be
Yes.
But I'm also looking at academics who are well known.
Yes,
They're-
exactly.
So
That's
I'm
what is
bringing them on
required.
board.
Yeah.
And if one or two big name corporate sectors are helping with this, at least the initial start of this, maybe that will give the push. That's what I'm hoping. That's why I'm also working with some of the corporates to identify what they need.
So how is it going? How is it going? Yeah? Tomorrow is a sunny day. That's what my iPhone tells me. Yeah?